A better life isn't about some single dramatic turning point. It's really built by the thousands of tiny choices we make every single day. So in practice, our own growth really just boils down to the quality of those decisions. So let's get into it and explore a really practical guide to making them better. So have you ever been there, completely stuck trying to decide something that feels like it should be easy? I mean, choosing what to work on or maybe when to speak up at a meeting. Heck, even what to have for dinner can sometimes feel impossibly heavy. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And here's the really crucial part. Feeling that struggle isn't a sign that there's something wrong with you. Actually, it's often a sign you're being responsible. It just means you get that you're making a choice in a world that's, well, complex and uncertain. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with why decisions feel so hard. Then we'll get into preparing for a choice, thinking through your options, and building a routine you can actually use. And finally, we'll see how it all pulls together to help you become a better decider. Okay, first up, why decisions feel so hard. And this is all about making a big shift from self-criticism to, well, actual analysis. This part is the foundation for everything else, for sure. So, at the heart of it all is this one word, uncertainty. I mean, think about it. We almost never have all the information we want, and we definitely don't control what's going to happen next. So that uncomfortable feeling you get, that's not a bug, it's a feature. It's just a natural part of making a thoughtful choice in the real world. And this is where a simple change in how you talk to yourself can change everything. So instead of asking, "Oh, why is this so hard for me?" Try asking, okay, what actually makes this decision so uncertain? See what happens? You've just shifted from blaming yourself to actually solving the problem. You're moving from just feeling bad to having a real strategy. Right, so once we've made peace with that uncertainty, we can actually start to prepare. Think of this next part as building your toolkit. These are the things you do to get clear before you even start listing pros and cons. So here's a super powerful 3-step routine to get you started. Step 1, set a clear goal and try to do it in one sentence. Like, are you trying to maximize your income right now? Or are you focused on personal growth or maybe more freedom? You got to get specific. Step 2, know when you have just enough information. The goal isn't to know everything. That's impossible, and it just leads to analysis paralysis. The goal is to know enough to take the next step. And step 3, and this is a big one, always look for the third option. Don't let yourself get trapped in a simple yes or no box. There's almost always another way, another path you haven't seen yet. Okay, so we're prepped. Now it's time to actually think through our options. This next part is all about the mental and emotional tools we need to really analyze our choices in a smart way. All right, this is absolutely critical. You have got to separate facts from opinions. Facts are things you can check, things that can be verified. Opinions? They're just interpretations. So your friend's advice might be super valuable. Agreed opinion, but it's not a fact. Learning to make this distinction is like a superpower for clear thinking. It protects you from social pressure and even from your own wishful thinking. Here's another great tool, thinking in timelines. A choice might feel really good or really bad this week, but what's the impact going to be in a year? How about 5 years from now? Asking these questions forces you to look at the long-term consequences. It helps you make a choice for the person you're trying to become, not just for the mood you happen to be in today. Big difference. When you're feeling a really intense emotion, like you're super angry or excited or even anxious, it literally narrows your thinking. It just makes us impulsive. So the rule here is incredibly simple, but incredibly hard. Just pause. Waiting for that emotional storm to pass isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategy, a really smart one. It lets your thinking get wide and clear again. Okay, let's be honest. We all have confirmation bias. It's that little voice in our head that loves information that proves we're right. So to fight it, you have to actively, intentionally challenge your own certainty. Ask yourself, okay, what's one thing that could prove me wrong here? Or better yet, find someone who disagrees with you and actually listen to them. This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about being intellectually honest. Because really, a decision is only strong if it can hold up under a little bit of pressure. Okay, so we've talked about the mindset and the analysis. Now let's get super practical. This is where we take all these big ideas and turn them into a simple routine you can actually use, like today. All right, for those small, everyday decisions, here is your quick-fire checklist. Seriously, running through these 5 questions. What's my goal? What are the facts versus my assumptions? What's that third option? What are the long-term effects? And what's the worst realistic outcome? It might take you 60 seconds, tops. But what it does is it forces you to pause and think on purpose. It takes that vague, anxious feeling and turns it into a structured, manageable process. Now, for real personal growth, this weekly review is an absolute game changer. Just look back at one decision you made this past week. First, ask yourself, what did I think was going to happen? Then, okay, what actually happened? But this third question, this is where the magic happens. What would I do differently next time? This simple little habit is how you turn your own experience into actual wisdom. It creates this powerful feedback loop that makes you a better and better decider over time. All right, let's pull all of this together. I think the most empowering idea in all of this is that making good decisions, it's not some secret talent you're born with. It's a skill that you can learn and get better at. You see, wise decision-making isn't this hunt for the one single perfect answer, because, spoiler alert, that doesn't exist. Instead, it's a practice. It's a skill you build day by day through self-awareness, through that kind of reflection we just talked about, and just by doing it again and again. And just remember, it's all about the cumulative effect. It's not about perfection. It's about making slightly better choices day in and day out. And over time, those little choices, they start to compound. They shape not just what happens to you, but they actually start to shape who you are, your character. So I'll leave you with this question. Think of a choice that's in front of you right now. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. Using what we've just talked about, what's one decision you're going to approach just a little bit differently this week?